Is it recording currently?
It's not recording.
I need a drink. So recently I made a video regarding Critical Role's Campaign 3 and why it really just hadn't captured the magic that I felt was there during Campaign 2. Now, I want to make it clear I'm not walking back on any of the points I made in that video. I honestly feel that all of them were perfectly valid and pretty decently well thought out. And the video also ends on a very positive note, and I'm not apologizing for that. However, there was a very negative response to the video. Well, at first I just took as the critical community being overzealous, as they tend to be, but then I began to self-reflect. I spoke to the people most important to me in my life, and I realized there were some harsh truths that I needed to face. And it was the fact that I was wrong. Not just about Critical Role Campaign 3, but D&D as a whole. See, I was under the impression that Critical Role made me feel things. The second campaign had made me feel hopeful. It made me feel happy. And while yes, that is somewhat partially true for both that show and the hobby of TTRPGs as a whole, the truth is nothing can make you feel. Nothing can truly force you to feel. And that's what I was wrong about. See, over the past year, I noticed this growing feeling of negativity and increased vitriol in my content, and it honestly began seeping into every portion of my life. A piece of myself that seemed jaded to the world, and I began to blame the things I found the most passion for not inspiring me like they used to. Things such as D&D and Critical Role and, well, this YouTube channel. I felt as if these things had somehow betrayed me or moved past the point where I could no longer feel excited for them, and I was really angry about that fact. That lack of excitement did a ton to cause me to start to build this resentment, until finally, after talking with the people who were closest to me, I realized, no, they weren't making me feel those things anymore, but not because they couldn't, because I just wouldn't let them anymore. There's something my mom always used to say to me when I was a kid, and that was that circumstances are reality, but attitude is a choice. That always made some amount of sense to me. I understood where she was coming from, but until recently, until sitting down to write this video, I don't think I ever fully understood exactly what that meant. But then it hit me. See, in order for you to feel excitement for your game of Dungeons & Dragons, you're gonna need a few things. They are absolutely crucial to feel excitement, not only in that, but pretty much anything. And that's one, you need to have a group of people who you work well enough with. Two, you need to have a promise that the game will continue to evolve in a way that is interesting to you. And three, you need to want to feel invested. And it's this third point that I have noticed not only I, but from my experience, a lot of people in the TTRPG community have seemed to lack a lot recently. And of course, who would blame them? Wizards of the Coast certainly has not done a fantastic job of making us actually want to invest into the game that has meant so much to us as of late. And of course, the world does kind of feel like it's burning around us, so it's pretty difficult to feel like we can get excited about things. And worst of all, there are icons in the community, such as Critical Role and Dimension 20, that we look up to so much, but it feels like there's always this edge, this constant teetering on a scandal that makes us hesitant and fearful to fully embrace what we love, because what if we get burned again? Just like the OGL situation, just like Wizards of the Coast messing up yet another time. I'll be honest, all of what I just said may not feel that relatable to others, but I'll admit it is exactly how I've been feeling as of late, and I have allowed all of those facts to be an excuse to not let myself invest, to not let myself get excited, to not care anymore. But I realized something. Caring is why I'm here. It's what I'm about. It's why this channel exists, because I want to care, because caring is important. Because without caring, how are we possibly supposed to believe in a world that could ever be better? To refuse to care, to refuse to invest, is to say that I'm okay with how things are, that I don't want things to change, that I won't let them change, that I don't believe they can change. And caring is the first step into believing that there is something out there better, that things can be better. And TTRPGs are the first thing I was ever able to connect with enough for me to realize that fact. Roughly a year or two ago, when I first made this channel, I made a slam poetry video. Yeah, I know it's super weird and a little cringy, but I think it is a perfect encapsulation of everything that I am currently feeling. So if you will indulge me for just a moment, and please forgive the absolutely horrible editing, embarrassing performance, what I'm trying to say is just give the message a chance. So here's that video. I was sitting at my desk the other day, wondering why I constantly want to run a game for my friends instead of what I know is probably separate from the norm, as every player wants to make a character, not to write the story, but to overcome the barriers of the world that I've created so that they can come and flourish, rather than face the harsh reality of our world so fucking boorish. Because when we're at the table, my players know a simple fact. In this world that I've created, they get to fight back. Against every hypocrite and bigoted and sickened social structure, they have the power to rise up and face the motherfuckers who have decided that their comfort is more important than the people. The party at my table gets to decide to treat everyone as equal. And that's why I run the game instead of fucking playing it, because for once I get to have a chance to have a fucking say in it. I get to make a world where there are struggles and a problem and give my group a chance to solve them and not rob them. The world around me is collapsing and it don't feel like an apocalypse. The world won't go out with a crash but just give up and sleep like narcolepsy. It makes me feel like my soul is being sucked, chewed, and swallowed. I find it so goddamn easy to just give up and decide to wallow in the misery the world around me feels so confident in offering. It's like every single turn there's a brand new bastard profiting off the misery of the people because of problems that they caused. God, I wish I could just be a hero and have the chance to give them pause. But that's the very heart of why I choose to run the game. When they finish every session, the look in their eyes is not the same. For a single fucking moment, they get to take it all and own it. They get to have the hope that they can take the world and finally show it, that it's not that hard to just choose to make the choice, to give everyone around you the chance to have a voice. Because the only thing it takes to make a change is to have a group of people who have the same amount of hope that together they can equal a force strong enough to start a change in what's wrong. And when I run the game, it gives them a chance to be that strong. That's my power as a game master, because I can't change the world, but as a game master I have a chance to let the sail be unfurled, to have the chance to give a group of players the hope that things can change, to have the chance to give a group of friends a world that can be rearranged. Right now we need to know that we can make a difference, and at this table we get to know that together we are in this. Thank you. That editing was a lot more rough than I remember. I'm so genuinely sorry. Anyways, that video is the culmination of everything that I have realized in the past year. TTRPGs are a chance to tell a story, a chance to work with others to create something that is larger than the sum of your parts, and most importantly at all, they are there to remind you that you matter, that what you care about matters, that what you do in this world matters, that caring about everything and caring about wanting a chance is important, that things are never hopeless, so long as we do one simple, infinitesimally small thing. We care. I watched Critical Role and I expected it to make me care again. I played D&D and I expected it to make me care again. I made content and I expected it to make me care again. But the truth is there is only one thing in this entire world that can make you care, that can make me care, to make me want to smile, to make us want to challenge things for the better, and that thing is you. It's me. Look, I know there are a lot of things that are in the world that make caring hard, whether it be constant betrayal, the oppression of depressive episodes, or the anxiety of things that are honestly beyond our control. Those things can seem so unstoppable, so massive, that a lot of the times we just want to give up. We want to give ourselves permission to not care. Because wouldn't that be easier than facing a problem that's too big for us to face? But here's the thing. It's not too big. Not if we all care. One person caring is enough to make a small difference. But two people caring for each other is enough to make every bit of difference that we could ever need. And the people in my life, the people who I love, they've shown me that. And I want to share that back with all of you yet again, like I used to. TTRPGs were my way of showing the world that I cared, at least once upon a time. And watching Critical Role was only a reminder of that fact. But as I gave myself permission to no longer care, I gave myself permission to no longer feel. And that just, it frankly isn't something I want for myself, nor anyone. No matter how hard the world is, no matter how difficult things are, there's always a reason to smile, and there is always someone who cares for you. And smiling means that there is joy, and joy is something I want to experience. So I will keep smiling, and I'll keep caring. To be honest, this channel has in many ways been a documentation of my attempt to grow in life. And D&D, TTRPGs, they've just been the backdrop for that, and I frankly think this is another step on that journey of life. To realize that throughout it all, I want to smile. I want everyone around me to feel like they want to smile as well, and I want them to feel inspired by the games they play to do better in the world. And so that's what I'm going to do. Recently, I made a video on the Bard and why it's a goofy class that I love, and I spoke specifically about the types of ways that it can influence a story, and it made me realize that there is a lot to discuss on why we should care about different types of characters. Already, I have this idea in my head of discussing the Druid. I think it's a fascinating class that can explore the identity of someone who has to grapple with the harsh reality and beauty of nature at the same time. And I want to explore more concepts of that, of how TTRPGs really do connect with life. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'd also like to take time to personally thank a few people. One, my siblings, because they have always been encouraging of my ventures, annoying as they may be. Two, Phil, otherwise known as Tulok the Barbarian, for helping give me somebody to vent to and just being a sympathetic ear. Three, Antonio, otherwise known as Pointy Hat, for being willing to toss me some really solid advice on how to push past my lack of inspiration. Four, Critical Role, for continuing to be people who refuse to stop caring. And five, and most importantly, my wife, who's currently sitting behind the camera, because through it all, she was the first person to believe in me. She was the first person to ask why I care. And she's the one who keeps caring for me above all else, so I can keep caring. So thank you. So go out into the world and make it your own, you beautiful bastards. And of course, love yourself and never forget to play your role.